The Benfleet Community Archive was sponsored by the Essex Record Office and Essex County Council Libraries in 2010 using a grant from the National Lottery. The purpose of the archive is to provide an online archive of memories of Benfleet. By the 5th of March 2011, after a year of preparation, we are ready to launch ourselves to the public of Benfleet. We decided that the best launch would be an exhibition of our material at the Benfleet Methodist Church. Countryside Estates offered to sponsor the exhibition, which enabled us to go ahead with the idea. We set up the hall hoping a lot of people would come. We had no real idea if they would. We fortunately had a fair amount of material to display, including a lot of photographs and postcards. We had a section on Benfleet and art and photography, as well as sports clubs such as the Benfleet Swimming Club, and many photos on the changing look of Benfleet as the buildings were built, altered and pulled down. We also had a schools desk where people could look at old school photographs and try and recognise themselves in others. We also had a continuous rolling display and a section where people could explore what we had on the website. We were ready for the launch, and the question was, would anybody come? They did. Councillor David Cross, the Castle Point Mayor, arrived to inspect and launch the archive. Here he is being welcomed by the committee. Another guest was the Castle Point Member of Parliament, the Honourable Rebecca Harris MP. Here she is talking to Mike Day, the archive's treasurer. Both Rebecca and the Mayor spent considerable time looking at the exhibition. And in fact, everybody spent a lot of time looking at the exhibition before the formal opening of the archive occurred.
Welcome to this, the official launch of the website of the Benfleet Community Archive. I'll get the hang of this eventually. And in particular, obviously, to the formal part of the proceedings, which means you're going to get a few words from me, you're going to get a few words from our webmaster, Phil Coley, you get some words from our MP, Rebecca Harris, and you get some words from the Mayor, and he will launch the thing. Mr. David Cross. I thank a lot of people, because we didn't get to this stage without a lot of hard work. And what I'd like to do now is thank the two ladies who without we wouldn't have existed at all. And I'm talking now about Susan Hampson from the Essex Library Service and Deborah Pearce from the Essex Record Office. They are the ones who put in the bid for Heritage Lottery Fund money and did so very successfully. And I know from experience it's not an easy thing to do, get money out of anybody. They did an extremely good job based on the sort of Canby experience. The Canby archive has been going for a number of years now. and if you go onto their site, it's very impressive. So they put together a bid, the lottery, and they were successful and were able to fund 6 new archives, Benfleet being one. So thank them particularly. And is Susan here? Susan is here. If you can make your way down here, Susan, we've got some flowers to give you. Thank you for all the hard work. Now I'm going to talk about another lady. Seems to be just ladies today. Who was ahead of the game. Before we got started, she recorded her own memories of Benfleet. She had painted Benfleet as well on canvas. You probably all know who I'm talking about. It's Iris Sugg, born Knightley. And she has been a real brick. I approached her with some trepidation at the beginning to ask if we could have permission to reproduce her words, her pictures, her tape and everything else onto the site. And the answer was a definite yes. We could have it all, plus photographs that she'd found from her family. And I don't know if this is a compliment or not, but you're an absolute brick, Iris. Thank you very much. And I think we've got some flowers. Iris.
Oh, thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor, Rebecca Harris MP, ladies and gentlemen, Benfleet Community Archive is creating a memory bank of the community's collective memories of what Benfleet was and is now. It utilises the power of the digital world to the world we live in to record photos, sounds and words about our community and make them available to anyone in the world at any time and forever. When Mark and I were at the surgery, we were at the library last Saturday on our regular archive surgery stint, we got talking to Eileen Ackerman. I don't know if she's here today. She said she didn't have much to add. Then she told us about standing at the top of Essex Way in 1953 and seeing the island being flooded. We said that was just the type of comment we needed. Later, when she was at home, she added 4 comments to the archive, including one which might be of interest to you, Mr. Mayor, when she worked for the council and she went into the bunker on duty for the council. So it's interesting the depth to add to it. We have a nice bunker. I think the council was kind enough to allow the archive to inspect the bunker. And now we're getting comments added to people's memories. And this improves and enriches. So please do look at it. So everyone has history, and we'd like you to share it. The Heritage Lottery Fund have paid to get us going. It's now up to all of us to find our pictures and memories, put them on the archive, comment on other people's articles, and build a community memory of Benfleet. If you've not done so already, please look at the archive and help us to preserve yesterday for tomorrow.
I couldn't miss this event because I'm actually quite an evangelist for local history. Some of you will know that when I had a proper job, I was a marketing director for Britain's first specialist local history publishers, and we published a lot of books on this area. And the company was started over 100 years ago by a chap called Sir William Phillimore, who was extremely worried that we were not looking after our local history records, our parish records and that kind of thing. And he started making sure that we had archives being saved by our local library services, because he knew the interest there was, and he could see into the future the great interest there would be in local history. But I think local history is not just really good fun and interesting. We've seen people today identifying their colleagues when they were back in the Brownies several decades ago, which is really very good fun. But it's actually, I think it's incredibly important for people's sense of place and their sense of community. And we really lose that at our peril. And I think that this is actually harnessing a real basic interest, but it's actually really good for the wider community and our sense of place and protecting our heritage and understanding our context here. And I hope that therefore, by being on this, modern media, rather than talking about websites or computers, modern media means it's got the access for this, and also the access for our young people, and I hope for our schools locally, will be enormously increased. So I'm really, really pleased and congratulate everyone who's put so much work into this, and I intend to be a regular visitor to the site myself. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Children do it, I think it's wonderful. Like a great deal we learn through history. We must never forget our own history, especially locally, because this should be taught in schools. It should be freely available to everyone. That's true. And of course, the archive itself, we've done a wonderful, wonderful job. Soon I've got to press a digit.
You pick a button.
Pick a button.
Pick a finger. It's very complicated.
Being a mayor is terrible. You have to choose things. What finger to choose, etc., etc. And here we can go. One finger. Yes.
Again, thank you all for coming. I didn't expect this amount of people here today. You did a wonderful job, guys. You really are. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Our thanks to everybody who has contributed to making the archive such a success in its first year. We look forward to many more years together.